AI and robotics are a tech industry buzzword that's about as common as computers these days. Every single industry seems to be implementing AI and robotics and automation in some sort of way, so it was only a matter of time before we started seeing it come now to solar. And while it's been used in solar manufacturing for a while, solar construction space is just getting started. Now, solar installations have grown tremendously over the last decade. It's actually been crazy to see the numbers. The Solar Energy Industry Association, SEIA, notes that in this last year, solar PV installations made up about 67% of all new generating capacity in the US. 10 years ago, in 2014, that was only 25%, so it's seen rapid growth. SEIA also notes that solar commercial pricing is down more than 12% year over year. So there's more solar being installed on large commercial and utility scales, and the costs are getting even lower. Unsurprisingly, when you have such a rapid growth and decreasing costs, more advancements continue to come in, like AI and advanced robotics. So let's take a look at a few different cases on commercial solar sites where people are using AI and robots to make these processes even more efficient. So solar is not new to the robotics space because manufacturing has been a huge place where it's used. When you're building panels, there's already smart robots, much like auto manufacturing, that can grab the components, put them into place, and take human error out of the equation. But construction has long been a place where it's been dominated by traditional crews, people working out in fields to do things. So let's look at a couple different technologies and start from the ground up. And I literally mean the ground. Now, surveying is a huge part of commercial solar installations. You have crews that are going to go out, take a look at the sites you have. There's soil sampling that can go on, ecological studies, but also crews have to go out and plan where the ground screws or the mounting piles are going to go. And those have to be very precise so they can be in straight lines. So when the other crews come through to put in the ground screws and the steel piles, everything is straight and it's going to work properly. Now, there's a company, TerraSmart, that is out here, and they have produced their APSR, their fully autonomous site surveying robot. They're able to deploy one of these out to site, and it can run around, and it can actually roll. It's based off of a NASA rover. It rolls around on site, collecting all the points with immense precision. It can mark off the points and even has a drill on it, so it can drill points for ground screws. Now, traditional crews were able to go out to site and locate about 200 points per day. Using the APSR, TerraSmart notes that they're able to do over 1,300 points per day survey. Large solar farms often have thousands, if not tens of thousands, of points they need for piles. So having that kind of speed and increase really speeds up the entire process. Moving up from there is a part that's often overlooked when it comes to solar installs, but there's a big place that things can slow down, and that is in the actual piles. Now, solar railing is typically attached to the ground via a big steel beam called a pile, or with ground screws. It can depend on the installation site. Now, pile driving is something that happens on a lot of solar sites, and basically what happens is you have a large machine that can come out and pound steel beams into the ground so that the system stays in place, doesn't blow away due to inclement weather. Traditional pile driving is done by a team of people, usually one operating a piece of heavy machinery called a pile driver, and the other people placing the steel piles where they need to go, laying them out so that the team can come in with the pile driver, pound the beams into the ground, and then they can continue moving on. Not only is this process really labor intensive, but can also be pretty dangerous when you're operating with heavy machinery, and it takes a lot of time to do, especially if piles are off and the row is not going to be straight and has to be dug up and redone. A really innovative solution is coming out of Built Robotics, where they have their two tandem machines to automate the pile driving process. Their RPD-35 and RPS-25 are two platforms built on an excavator. What these are able to do is fully autonomously carry piles around to marked sites and then place the piles in the ground. The RPD-35 has storage racks on it, so it can hold more than 200 piles at a time. Its robotic arm grabs the piles, places it on the ground, and the RPS holds it in place while the RPD pounds the piles in. These don't have to operate with any crew inside the cabin, are fully autonomous. The Built Robotics actually claims that with their site, they can work up to 5 times faster than traditional crews and can work around the clock and in any inclement weather. Now, a lot of advancements also going into placing the panels on the rails. You may use traditional technologies for putting the piles in place and the rails, but once you get there, you do need to press panels onto. And that can be really labor intensive and time intensive too. There's two different technologies that are going about doing this in a really unique way. The first is Maximo by AES. Maximo is a really cool, fully autonomous system that combines LiDAR, camera, and sensors along with AI to fully autonomously place and attach panels to rails. This large machine can be deployed out to a site. It holds panels in a storage bin, and while one robotic arm will grab the panel, it'll place it onto the railing. The other robotic arm is underneath the panel, torquing it into place and perfectly matching it. Maximo uses a technology agnostic approach so that it can use any variety of panels and clamps that are built into its system and just continue down the way. Maximo is able to work significantly faster than traditional crews and in a much safer way. The team at AES has already deployed Maximo out to sites over several states, and it's installed nearly 10 megawatts worth of solar, with a lot more to come. Now, in a similar vein, you have a product like Charge Robotics' Sunrise Robot. Sunrise is a trailer-mounted, fully autonomous assembly system for solar panels. Much like Maximo, this is tackling the problem of actually placing panels onto railing, but what Sunrise has done is actually automate the entire process. Rather than having existing railing out in a field and then placing panels onto it, Sunrise's trailer-mounted system can be pulled out to any field, and its automated systems use their robotic arm to attach the railing and the panels, everything together, and it will push out fully completed sections. This kind of process can greatly speed up the actual panel placement and leave the more labor-intensive work of just connecting the systems together and then running the cabling to people. Now, lastly, there's also really cool technology being put into place for after construction, for maintenance. Obviously, these solar systems are going to be out in the field for a long time and need some maintenance on them. And there's a really cool product out of Ecopia that is automating the cleaning process. Now, solar fields are often put into really dry, arid areas to take advantage of those premium sunlight possible. And due to this, there can be a lot of soiling on panels. Soiling is when the panels get dirty, and that decreases their efficiency. Ecopia has created 3 different products, depending on the type of railing and panel you have, to automate the cleaning process. Their cleaning robots operate like little Roombas on top of the panels to go across and clean off any dirt or debris that might be on top of them that is decreasing their efficiency. The best part about that is that their systems don't require any water or any energy. They run completely energy independent with their own small solar panels on them. Because these solar fields are so large, traditional crews can take a long time to go through and complete cleaning of all of the panels when it's necessary. These robotic advancements, and coupled with AI, are pushing the boundaries of what's possible in solar. The US has some really aggressive standards for how much energy we want to produce renewably, and we're going to need to continue making advancements like this if we're going to install enough solar to get there. With continued development and demand, we may soon see a world where solar can be installed almost completely autonomously with very little human interaction. So where do you think AI and automation could be incorporated best into solar? I know personally, I would love to see some automation go into warehouse management. I think you do a lot of great things there. And I would love to see robotics up on a pitched residential roof to decrease some of the safety concerns. But let us know what you think is best. Leave a comment down below this video of where you think solar could best be used for robotics and AI. Take a look at the video description. We'll also put in links to all the technologies we talked about today.